Hello, you guys. How are you? So I know you guys have watched my previous reviews. This week was amazing. I had a chance to go to Cincinnati, Ohio, and that was pretty cool. I liked it a lot. We ended up purchasing stuff that probably we didn't need, but it was just a great time. So today I'm gonna be just probably cleaning up my face while I just talk to you a little bit so you get to know me a little bit better. Um, so let's start off by saying how I actually met Duamel. Duamel and I, Duamel is my partner first of all, and then he's my companionship. He goes everywhere I go. And the reason why I want to talk about it is because he's such an important piece in my mind, in my life, in my heart, and everywhere I go. He's just there, and he's like the 100% that I just need to be 100% happy. Um, and the reason why I wanted to talk about it's because he's one of the main reasons why I do what I do makeup now, why I do YouTube, and that's just who he's part of who I am. And those are my little doggies, my three babies. And the reason why I want to talk about it's because I feel like I rarely get the time to talk about him, and this is the time where I should be talking about him. Um, so, like you guys know, I am 28 years old now. It's December 2017, and I met with him about 3 years ago, probably a little longer than that. He used to live with one of my closest friends at the moment when I lived in California, and that friend and I and another friend, we used to go not every weekend, but we used to go pretty much to hang out every Friday. Back in California, I had sometimes 2 to 3 jobs just to maintain myself, just to make sure I had the right amount of money, and just to make sure I was doing good. You know, in California, there are so many things going on. Rent is very expensive, although the living there, I just would not be able to compare to anywhere else that I have been, because California, it's one of those places where it just has its own magic. Maybe you don't find it like that, but I do. And the reason why I find it like that is because there's so many great things about it. The beach, the museums, the downtown, Santa Monica, Venice, Malibu, San Francisco, LA, San Diego. There's Big Bear. I don't know. There are just so many things about it, culturally speaking, that you can get for free. Like I remember I'll insert a couple of pictures at the end, and you'll figure out which ones I'm talking about. I used to go to LACMA, which is the LA Museum of Arts. It's just beautiful. It's amazing. It's just shocking how many things you have to see, and you're just running out of time. Another place that I actually went with Duamel, it's called like the Getty Villa, and that's located near Malibu, California. So there are so many things that I would not be able to describe in just one video about California. I'm just in love with it. It's just one of those magic places to me where I am just very happy and honestly thankful to God that I had the experience and the time and the opportunity to go there. So I was about 25, 25 turning 26, almost, and I had met Duamel there. And the reason why I met him, it's because he was renting a room out of my friend's house at the moment. And so I used to see him every now and then. I used to see him like taking a shower, because his bathroom was the main bathroom in the first floor, so we would always go to the main bathroom, and he sometimes would be there, and he sometimes would take forever to take showers. And if you wanted to go to the bathroom to do pee pee, he would be there, and you knew that someone was there. Sadly true, that's just the way he is actually, and it just who he is. And I've come to terms where I just accepted that he sometimes takes from 30 to 40 minutes to get ready, or 20 minutes just to shower, because he cleans himself the whole body, just a whole ritual for him. So I just have come to terms where I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna give up. So that's one of the reasons why I actually met him. I remember at the moment, I was a couple of weeks or months before that, I was getting to know a friend of my friend at the house, the owner's house, and he and I just didn't do well. I remember we were supposed to hang out at night, and he ended up going in. We ended up just different ways. That's all I want to say about it, as nice as possible. After that, it took me a while because it took me a little bit longer to realize how Domel was and who Domel is. I knew he used to work for Sally's, and he liked it. I knew he had such a good heart because my friend used to always talk about him, really good stuff. Like, he was always very giving, he was always very forgiving as well. So I felt like he and I had so many things in common, and I just felt like he was really a nice person to be around with. That's pretty much it. I feel like I have something over here. I don't know what it is. I don't want to be poking my face. Anyways, I don't know what that is. I feel like crescendo, it just breaks you out a little bit. But you can't use an exfoliant to exfoliate. Anyways, so that was pretty much it. And then one day we were supposed to go on my birthday, which was a Friday, to go out and go dancing. And then all of a sudden my friends just didn't feel like it, and we ended up not going, and I ended up very upset. So the next day, my main friend, he said, I'm just gonna take you to lunch and I'm gonna take you to a restaurant. And so he did, and we had a nice dinner. And then after that, he said, do you remember the guy who lives with me? And I said, yes. He said, well, he wanted to cook for you a flan. I'm like, a flan? And so I'm like, okay, that's a nice gesture, you know, I can live with that. And I've always fell in love with like jellos and flans, and those are just my weakness. So pretty much that was about it. And then we ended up going back to his house, and he was sitting there, and he said, oh, happy birthday. All I remember, he used to look very sharp. And when I say sharp, he's, you know, not like he doesn't look like that anymore, but at the moment it was very shocking because I actually had never seen his face. All I remember, the first thing I thought, his eyebrows looked very sharp, and at the moment his face looked so perfect to me that I felt like maybe it was just my imagination. He was just such a gorgeous face. He has such a gorgeous face, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I asked him if he was able to do my eyebrows as well, because I've always kind of wanted to have like fuller eyebrows, like this, like very manly. Anyways, we ended up kind of flirting while he was doing my eyebrows, which was kind of amazing, I have to say that. So he ended up doing my eyebrows. I had to sit on a chair, and I had my legs open, and he was like in the middle of my legs, and I was, in the meantime, while he was taking out my eyebrows, I remember I was pushing him towards me, and I was kind of like grabbing his butt, and I'm like amazed. I was like at the moment very amazed, and he smelled really good. He had like a beautiful skin, this thick Angelina Jolie, kind of like Kylie Jenner's lips, very thick and very rich, and they look kind of reddish, which I have always been one of my weaknesses in anybody. So I felt like, oh my goodness. And so we knew we were gonna go out that night on my birthday, because of my birthday, even though it was just a Saturday. So I ended up asking Duhamel if he wanted to go with me for a night out with the rest of the guys, and he said yes, why not? And I ended up flirting with him. I ended up knowing that he would speak Spanish. But so I would ask him, do you speak Spanish? in Spanish, of course. And he'd be like, yes. I'd be like, ¿hablas español? And he'd be like, yes. And I'd be like, why would you not answer in Spanish? And I was like, oh my gosh. So it was such a magic moment. I just can't put it in words how exciting it was and how amazing everything went from there. I remember all I wanted to do is just have fun. I was very honest about everything in my life. From the very beginning, I've always had that feeling that I should be honest about everything pretty much. So I kind of have had like the the feeling that I should be able to speak in a manner where the other person would engage in a relationship or in a friendship with me with as a foundation with honesty. So I was like, this is me, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is what I am, pretty much everything. Just the most important things. So he said, let's go for it. And we ended up going to a bar that's called Flex in San Diego. And so we ended up partying and dancing, and then later on we went to Riches, which is they are all in the gay community, which is Hillcrest is like kind of like the West Hollywood of San Diego or of LA. So we ended up having a lot of fun, and we enjoyed everything. At a moment, I remember I asked him if he wanted to come with me to, I don't remember if it was to take home my jacket or put it back on me. All I remember, it was like, I kind of wanted to push him towards like the age where I actually wanted to kiss him, and I knew he knew, and it kind of made it funny and entertaining and flirty and fun, and it was just all amazing. I don't know. Even like I myself, I recreate those moments in my mind, and every relationship has up and downs, and I feel like our main foundation has always been love. From the very first night, I remember that we went back to my friend's house, and he had a couple of spare rooms, so I ended up going to sleep to the spare room, and for some reason I knew he would sleep downstairs in the first floor, so I went downstairs and I asked him if he could come with me and sleep in the bed. And we did not do anything sexual whatsoever. But we just slept together, and it was very entertaining. It was very nice and very sweet. One of the reasons why I felt like I was so attracted to Domel is because he was such an honest person, and he has such a nice soul that I just fell in love with the fact that I knew that he was a nice kid. And we have 4 years as a difference between him and I felt like that was such an amazing thing to do. I honestly would not change what we've been through, but of course, like, hey, like I said, every relationship has up and downs. And I remember the next day he had to go to Sally's, and I didn't have to go to work, but I did. Sorry. So anyways, I remember that on the first night on Sunday, waking up on Sunday, we ended up waking up because I was a manager of a gas station, and I remember they used to call me for every single thing, and they called me in because something had happened. It was like 4 a.m. in the morning. I was still asleep, and I was answering to them. It was just such a horrible experience working for the company and the supervisor. I just don't want to say anything negative about him, but I just would never do that kind of gas station living. So anyways, we ended up waking up early, and he told me he had to go to he told me he needed to go to work, and I was like, hey, would you mind if I come with you? And so I was like, he was like, okay, well, let's go ahead and do it. And I was like, I'm happy about it, hey, I don't want to say anything bad, and I don't want to ruin the moment pretty much. And he ended up grabbing his bike, and all I remember, it was we walked to his work, which he was like an hour away from us, walking only. And then he was getting off at 6, and I knew I wanted to see him. Anyways, it was just such a nice experience. And then later on, um, I did some kind of really bad stuff in within the very first month or very couple of first months, where I just kind of ruined the moments. I remember I had to put Duhamel, and not because I had to, it just happened to happen. That I put Duhamel in such an awful experience, where I was kind of that person who was always afraid to fall in love with somebody who was truly wanting to fall in love with you, and I felt like that was just not something that I actually, at the moment, didn't feel like it was the right fit for me, or I was just afraid to find true love, and I was not sure because I knew I was getting close to it. And I remember I had to put them out, and there are a lot of bad circumstances. I pretty much put him into hell because he fought for my love, and all I have to say is I'm just very thankful that he's still with me, and that we've been together through a lot of bullshit together. So we did had what's somewhat like we did pass that for like the very couple of first months. I kind of like went over and I kept looking into having an open minded and not putting all my eggs into one basket. And I realized that Dumel was the right person when we both first started to like traveling and realizing that hey, it just happened to happen that we're both two mature men and we wanted to have two relationships, and it took me a lot of time and it took me a lot of courage, and it was not easy for me. So I was like, okay, well, this is what you have to do and you just have to get it together. So anyways, it just took me a long time for me, honestly. This is the peppermint organic lip balm from All-in-One Dr. Bronner. So it just felt really uncomfortable at the very beginning as well. Then later we kind of developed that kind of relationship where we never got separated. It wasn't until I actually traveled back to Mexico and visited a couple of friends and family, and we stayed three days away. And when I came back, I after a while, I think I had a moment in my back where I kind of had like a stroke with my back, and then my spine and my sciatica nerve, and I just had such an awful time where actually I had spent over 2 days where I could not wake up or stand up. So Duhamel had, at the moment we weren't not dating or hanging out, where Duhamel, he was the only person that I actually occurred that to me that he was the only one that was gonna be able to help me. So I went to him, and we're gonna be using as well. Sorry. So anyways, he ended up taking me to the HR or emergency room. Anyways, ER. I'm sorry. So he ended up taking me to the ER. We're gonna be using the Studio Fix NW35 for the look today. And we're gonna be also using my peach concealer from Ulta. It's waterproof, and then my Monkey Complex from number 360 Biscay. So I felt like I had put Duhamel in such a really awful place. I felt like I put so much responsibility, and I'm very thankful that he actually took care of me because he was such a nice person. And so it took us a while to realize that we were meant to be one for another. And it's not like, oh my gosh, it was such a huge dream or sweet dream. Nothing was sweet at all. I feel like in the very beginning everything was bittersweet, and just like every couple, we argue every now and then. But I feel like for us, what helped us is the fact that we've come a long way from what we were and who we were at the moment. After a year, I want to say we actually moved from California to Las Vegas, and the reason why we moved there it wasn't because we wanted. It's because I actually showed or presented the idea to him, and I told him, hey, California is really nice and everything else, but I feel like California is taking a lot of our money, and we can have fun because we need money to eat. And when I mean fun, we wanted to go to the beach, and you knew that you had to put at least $20 in gas, but those $20 will be able to help you to pay the full rent, or if you were not going to pay the rent, you need to pay another bill. And it was just such an awful experience. He had 2 jobs, I had 2 jobs, and the minimum wage, I remember at the moment, it was $9, and we were working for $9 in one of our jobs. And then at some point, he actually had 3 jobs. He would work at Target, he would work at a gas station, I think, and at Walmart. No, he worked at Target, Walmart, and at T-Mobile, and I just felt like he kind of burned out, and it was just such a horrible experience where I just felt like it was unnecessary for us to keep working and working and not enjoying ourselves. We were rarely able to see each other at home. And at the moment, I remember we used to live in Vista, California, and there was we were renting from this lady, and the experience was horrible. The reason why, it's because the lady felt the need. Now I'm gonna use my mic complex to brighten up and illuminate my eyes. The lady felt the need to go every time we would put trash in, like we'd take trash out of our room. She felt the need that she needed to check the trash, and that was kind of psycho. I felt like that was uncomfortable. Then later on, I had one of my closest friends in Mexico, and I asked her, "Hey, is it okay if she comes over?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's fine." And then I told her, she's gonna be staying a week, and then she's like, "Oh, that's fine. I'm gonna be leaving, and you guys just do you." And my son is gonna be here, and I'm gonna be fine. So she ended up coming back from Mexico earlier than what we all were expecting. So she was kind of those people who were hungry for money, and she would expect us to pay her. She actually claimed that she wanted me to pay more rent, and at the moment I believe we were paying almost $700 for a really small. My bathroom is bigger than what I had for a bedroom at the moment. I just felt like that was uncomfortable. So that was one of the main reasons why I'm like, no, you know what? We're just gonna leave. And I remember I had started a job at this company that they were like the Jitterbug cell phones for aging American people, and I was like, you know what? We're just gonna go. It doesn't matter. So Domel started working for a company, and then later on, because he was tired one time, he got laid off, and then we both started working for AT&T, and then later on he got a job at Verizon, so we started working, and then I started working at Jafra, which was one of the companies that I used to work before with my mom. So I was like, okay, this will work, and and he's a licensed cosmetologist, so I was like, hey, it's just gonna work. So, but it didn't go as well as I planned. And well, this looks nice. It looks like I'm rested, even though I'm not. So we ended up he ended up leaving the job because he had a boss who was homophobic, and she was Mexican. And I want to say Mexican because I'm Mexican. I'm not homophobic, and I'm very sad to hear that there's a lot of people out there who are just homophobic. Anyway, so he had such a horrible experience there, and at the moment we were living at Vegas, and all I can remember is that we had our high hopes. We would only expect for the best, and I felt like expecting the best out of the people living there. It was not always the best way to experience Vegas. We found amazing people. I do have to say that we are still in contact with a lot of people there, but again, this is the StudioFix NW35 from Mac. So I felt like Vegas was just an amazing place to, like, a learning experience. So when we started working for Jafra, actually we met so many people, and the mall started having more time to how how do I want to word this out? He had more time to experience, elaborate, collaborate. He had this time where he was able to work with makeup, hair, and we created this list of the people who he loved his work. They did. It truly did. It took him a while. I still remember the first time when we actually started working as as makeup and as a freelancers. Me as a freelancer. He is a makeup artist. Um, this lady had like 4 faces done for $50 only. At this moment, I would charge her probably $500, but no. Um, and she was very picky. She wanted to have like fake lashes. She wanted to have the full glam. She wanted to be ready in less than an hour. Screw that. We're not gonna be doing that. Not gonna be doing that anywhere near. Um, so, anyways, to me, like I felt like Vegas. It was such a hardcore learning experience that I am just so grateful to have Domel because there were so many things where I was feeling very weak, where I was feeling like there was no hope. And at the moment, we had those elections going on for the President Trump, and there were so many mixed reviews about everybody that I felt like a lot of people just had this kind of like feelings where I don't know, it was just hard. And not only that, I also feel like a lot of people just wanted to have something very cheap when it comes to makeup and wanted to have the best. Anyways, and not only makeup, like I said, on hair as well. So let me see how it looks. I need some more blending in my life. I was wearing La Mer and I just didn't feel like it was the right fit. I don't know why, but I just like the full coverage matte. Like all natural. I feel like it just matches my skin better. So, anyways, we were just having so much fun. Sometimes we would go to I remember we used to go to Circus, and we had so much fun going there. We just enjoyed the rides. I remember we used to love to go to the Strip. And there was a time where I actually had a hard time in life and in work because our license plate gets expired, and I felt like there are many things in my life where I wanted to show Domel, and we met so many people who weren't able to get a job, who weren't able to vote, who weren't able to do a lot of stuff. And I felt like for me, it was a really good learning experience, not only for me, but for Domel to do, to live with expired license plates for at least less than a month or something. And it really was. Every time cop would stand behind us, we would freak out. And, I would never do those things that we used to do in Vegas, but I would definitely do the best that I can to become a better person. And the reason why is because we ended up having our first apartment together and separated at the same time, if that makes any sense. Like we never had the chance to do had an apartment for us, and for us doing our work, doing what we love to do, and doing what we do the best, and meeting new people. It was just an amazing experience, and it allowed us to be better. It allowed us to be to meet new people and have like that quality time working together as a team. And I just felt like that was amazing. I would never trade that part of my life with anything. And later on, a lot of other things happened, but and then I'm here now, or we're here. But definitely, I felt like when it comes to the mail, I'm such a grateful, honored, respectful person, and I would never trade anything that we've been through. I'm gonna put some setting spray. Amigas, chidas. So, anyways, I feel like being with Domel, it has been such a roller coaster, and it has always been a very positive way. And I know that at some point he's gonna be looking at this video and he's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, why do you do this?" Or "How you never told me this?" But if you are out there looking for somebody, or looking for love, or looking for just pretty much love, or somebody to love, you have to understand that it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of work. Even when you're in a relationship, there's so many things that you have to understand, like you're not always gonna win, and it's not always about winning, it's always about accepting and letting go, because you're not always gonna get your way. Also, you have to understand that in order to move on from a mistake, you have to let go and forgive the other person's mistakes. I also feel like if you truly love somebody, you have to understand that there is no way for you to change that person. There is no way for you, it's like staying with the drug addict. If the person is gonna be that way or has been that way forever, he's not gonna change for you from the one day to the next day. It just, you can help him to become a better person, but it's not gonna be, oh, I'm gonna change him like that just because I know he loves me. It's not like that. It takes time to change somebody's behavior, and not even change, you kind of just modify that. I've also learned with Domel that love does shows you not only respect, admiration. It love shows you who you truly are and who you truly want to become. You choose from being miserable, or being the happiest person in the world, or being abusive, or just being somebody who doesn't care about anybody. So you do learn, and you do kind of like realize that relationships are so much better when both persons in the relationship are committed to be better and greater, and move up and move on, and understand that the relationship are just gonna be that way, and nothing is gonna change that. So to me, relationships are pretty much that. I would not trade what I have right now in my life from what I could have with somebody else. Or this is just who I am. This is who I truly want to be. Domel is the person who I actually want to be with, because he has made me such a better person. He has stuck up for me in the moments where I just felt like I was feeling miserable, or I just felt like I couldn't say any word. Domel to me means the whole world, and I just want to put it up there, because I know a lot of you guys are either finding true love, or are either trying to find love, or just looking pretty much, or you don't know if a relationship should be, you should break up with your boyfriend because you don't know what's better for you, and even you can hear me, you can hear your best friend, and you can hear anybody. So it's not non-transfer, so I'm glad about that. So you can hear anybody that you want to, but nobody's gonna change you. Nobody's gonna decide for you. No matter where you go, no matter what decision you choose to, if you slapped him, or he smacked you, or whatever, that's just gonna be you. If you want to be in a relationship where either it's just abusive, or it's just gonna be cheating, or lying, or not trust, it's founded, maybe it's time for you to move on. Or maybe, but you're never gonna find out until you do it. And if you want to really stick to that person's relationship, and you want to move on with that person, you have to make sure you let them know how you want to move to that relationship that it's in your mind. I've always told them all that it was really fun and entertaining how relationships are drawn or painted in a movie. How are represented by the actors. Like, it's just all fun sometimes it just feels like they're all amazing, or all glamour, or it's just like kind of like soap opera. but it's never something that it's very tangible, something like you are like, okay, here's a relationship and this is what it's gonna work for me. All relationships only depend on you and what you want to get from that relationship. If you want to be a better person, if you see that person with you for your entire life, or you're just there because you're bored. Relationships are, if you want to have a meaningful relationship, I do have to say from deep in my heart that you have to be very honest, you have to be very supportive, you have to understand that you're not always gonna you're not always gonna be in your comfortable zone, or comfort zone, just because that's the way it is. Your partner should always, he's always gonna put up with you, and he's always gonna stick up to you, and he's always gonna support you no matter what. But it's not always gonna be that way. You're also gonna have the bad. You're also gonna be able to see the bad and the good, and you're gonna say, okay, here's where I am, and here's what I want to be, or here's where I'm going to. So pretty much that's kind of my best advice. Duhamel has enriched my life in so many ways, where I have become such an open-minded, and I say such an open-minded because I feel like there are so many things in my life that I now want. Like, I want to have international trips. I want to have money where I can save up money and have like that kind of like little money for the emergencies. Those are the little things that I never thought about. Being thankful to God, being able to say, hey, we make mistakes and it's just time to move on. It's just time for me to understand that life happens and it's not always gonna be happy and it's not always gonna be great. It's not always gonna be positive. You can't expect to have that the whole time and 100% of the time. You're either gonna give and give in, or you're just gonna walk out. So that's pretty much it. I just didn't want it to take this long, but if you're out there, I do have to say that to me, my relationship, we live together, we have become such an amazing couple. We've kind of like maneuver into what now we are like, okay, this is what I want, and I don't even have to say it. He knows it, or he knows he knows that I know what he wants, and I just kind of go for it. I'm just very thankful, and no matter what ethnicity, sex, religion, background, you're always gonna be able to fit in with that person as long as you want to do it. If you don't want to do it, you're just not gonna happen. So with this said, I just want to say goodbye, guys. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe to my channel. I'll leave a couple of pictures of us in a couple of trips that we did, from Tijuana to Big Bear to Los Angeles to Las Vegas to Indiana. I hope you guys like this video, and this video is for you to remember that always remember, love exists. No matter where you go, it's always gonna be there. You just have to open your mind and remember that you may find it in a place where you never thought you would, and you have to fight for it sometimes. It's not always gonna be easy. So thank you, guys. I'll see you guys soon, and if Duhamel, you're watching me, call me. I'm waiting. So I'll be showing you a couple of pictures from the moment we started dating. And here's the charm of the TV show called Charmed. It's located in LA. I don't know which part. I remember that we used to hang a lot in the Malibu. This is LACMA, the LA Museum of Art, and this one right here is the Ghetto Villa. It's just pretty, it's amazing, it's beautiful. It was such an amazing experience to be here. Then we also used to go to the museum, like the paintings around the LA. This is one of them. One of our favorite places of Duhamel and I, it's the beach. Either it could be, I believe this is in Tijuana. This is in Ensenada, California. I can't remember the name of it. It was in La Bufadora. So this Bufadora, it's in Ensenada, California. We had so much fun. We drove all the way there from San Diego to Ensenada. And then pretty much we've always had fun. This is in Hollywood. I feel like that special person to you should always stick with you no matter what. And stick with your dreams. And honestly, Domel has been one of those persons who's also shown me responsibility. This is one of our babies, and it's called the brown one. It's called Richie, and the creamy one is called Jiggy. And we also have another one that's called G- uh, Chico. And the three of them have been such an amazing part of our lives. I feel like to us, it just has not only made us more committed into the relationship, but has shown us how responsible we can be. And honestly, it's just such a grateful experience to have Domel and I being in this relationship and engaging in developing and investing more than just words. Um, it's just amazing. I honestly can't put it in words how blessed I felt to have him by my side. This right here, it's Santa Monica. This right here will be Rodeo Drive, and we used to hang a lot on Beverly Hills because of the TV show called The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And at the moment, as you can see, Domel has always have fun with his hair. He's always changing the color of his hair, and he is just amazing. This is our baby Richie, and in the next one you'll see Domel posing in Malibu, California. The next ones are either Domel or Richie or the three of us or the fourth of us. We always have try to have fun. Life is so short. I feel like you need to get away. You need to invest in your relationship. You need to have fun with that special person. This is well in the very beginning of the relationship. As you could see, that our doggies, our little babies, just show so much love for us. We just feel blessed, honestly. And I've always taken pictures. Those ones right here, and I have a couple of more that I've taken from my cell phone. I've always used the iPhone. So if you like them, please remember to follow me on Instagram. Remember to follow me on Snapchat or follow or subscribe to my channel. This is Domel in La Jolla. The next one is Domel in this is really funny. Domel and I in the Walk of Fame. I remember he was very surprised that I spoke Japanese. I'll list a little bit. The next one is in Oceanside, California. And the couple of next ones are on Manhattan Beach in California, which is a really nice place. This one right here is from Santa Monica. And it's just amazing. The feeling of the beach, the breeze in your face, listening to one of my favorite artists, which is Lana Del Rey, and having such a summertime sadness, living in the, in the dream, in the California dream. It just, I feel like Lana Del Rey has become one of our pretty much, how do you say that, like backgrounds, one of those OST soundtracks from our personal movie. This one right here, it's the Brea Museum of Art in LA. This is Domel and Hillcrest having fun with me, and a friend of mine, Susanna. And then this right here, it's us. We were chasing the painting of the angel paintings. I don't remember the name of them, but I know what they mean. This right here, it's us standing in one of those stores in the Walk of Fame. This right here is our baby Richie having fun. In the next ones, you'll see a little bit about our experience in Las Vegas, Nevada, which was just a whole different world from California. We still had fun. I remember in the very first 3 months living in Las Vegas, we actually lived in our car in a parking from one of the hotels, which it was called Paris Hotel. And I'm very blessed that at the moment they weren't charging for parking. We have lived so many things. I cannot tell you how many things have I can probably make a book. This is at the Cosmopolitan Casino, and Domel, I feel like he always looks amazing with any color. Right now he's wearing currently he's wearing a blonde one, which I really like, and we just always try to stick right next to each other, back up one to another one, give each other like a high five if you have accomplished something. And whether we're together or not, we're always texting. We're always like best friends. We just have become family from the moment that we've met. This is Domel playing funny faces on Snapchat. This is one of my favorite videos. This is him with those on flick sharp on my macacho with my nail eyebrows. This is Romeo having fun eating, of course. He loves to eat as well as I do. I'm capable of it. I'm guilty. Here you can see he was having fun. I always ask him, can you smile? Can you just not give me that pose? So he's always making poses on Snapchat or Instagram or anywhere pretty much. This is Romeo. Just having fun. I feel like the next picture is such a cutie one. I feel like he looks so adorable. And the next one's actually, you'll see him. He's trying like different hats for winter. One of our favorite things to do is go to the beauty counters or go to TJ Maxx or anywhere. This is one of the conventions from Jafra Cosmetics. It was an amazing time too. And this right here, it's in Henderson, Nevada. Trying some Ray-Bans, and this right here is wearing a Lana Del Rey hat. And at the end, I'll just attach another video of our beautiful doggies. I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you guys soon.